If you would have invested $1 million into Terra Luna 1 month ago, that investment today would be worth less than $1. Imagine losing over 99.9% of your portfolio in less than 30 days. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be discussing not only what happened to Terra Luna, resulting in the price crashing completely, but also what this means for the Terra community and for the crypto community as a whole. First off, let's start by defining the players that were involved in the events. Luna is the network token of the Terra blockchain founded by Do Kwon. Luna allows users to pay fees, participate in governance, stake, and most importantly for the crash, peg to stablecoins. As use of Terra as a blockchain grows, the value and worth of Luna would grow as well. Alongside Luna, we have Terra USD, or UST, which is the stablecoin for the Terra blockchain. A stablecoin is a cryptocurrency that is pegged or tied to the value of another currency. In theory, UST is set to equal $1, and it has a yearly APR of 20% when you stake it, which is a very high APR. Now let's dive into the market model of Terra and Luna as an ecosystem. The model is set up in a way that allows you to trade $1 UST for $1 worth of Luna. Now, to ensure that UST is pegged to the US dollars and stays around $1, there's an algorithm and certain incentives put into place that help this. If, for example, you have $1 UST and see that UST is currently trading at 1.009 USD, which is about $0.009 above its intended $1 peg. What you can do is you can swap $1 worth of Luna for $1 UST, and by swapping, this results in the burning of $1 USD worth of Luna and the minting or creation of $1 UST token. You can now go and swap that $1 UST token that you've just minted that's worth 1.009 USD and essentially make a profit of 0.009 USD. This ends up putting pressure on UST as the pool is expanded. Essentially, there will be even more UST tokens until this peg is regained at $1, at which point users won't have incentive in swapping Luna to UST anymore, and UST will be stable back around or exactly at $1. In the same manner, if UST drops below $1 to $0.995, for example, the opposite strategy can be applied. Users will buy $1 UST for $0.995 and then swap that $1 UST for $1 worth of Luna. They're essentially making $0.005 profit. This will again continue to take place until the UST pool decreases enough until the $1 peg is regained and it is once again stable at $1. In theory, this all makes sense and should work out very nicely, right? Well, that's what tons of other people thought as well, and that's why they had huge amounts invested into UST as a stablecoin, receiving that 20% APR, and into Luna, which was again the token behind the whole Terra network. So if this was such a great model, what happened? Well, let's look into it. A large institution borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin and then exchanged a large amount of Bitcoin for UST under the table directly to Do Kwon, who is again the founder of Terra, at a discounted rate. This ended up lowering the total liquidity of UST. This institution then proceeded to dump a very large amount of both Bitcoin and UST on the market, so they were selling off large portions of Bitcoin and UST, which caused a liquidation cascade of people that were leveraged long and panic selling of investors, many of which ended up selling their Luna and UST. This is where the problem happens. As large amounts of UST are sold, the price drops below its intended $1 peg. But now, alongside UST's price plummeting, which usually was counteracted by a large influx of people buying UST to make profit by exchanging it for Luna, well, now Luna's price was also plummeting. As people with large amounts of UST and Luna saw this begin to unravel, they quickly began selling off their UST and Luna for USD, further contributing to the cascade of the price plummeting. Now, as I mentioned, 1 UST will always be worth 1 USD of Luna, no matter how much Luna is worth or how much UST is worth. So, as the price of Luna continued to spiral, the more Luna each UST sold off created. The total amount of Luna tokens was increasing, while the price of both UST and Luna was quickly decreasing. This unfortunately led to a spiral effect that was too far gone to be stopped, and this continued on for days, with people either taking advantage of the situation or trying to get whatever they had in there out, hoping to somehow recover a part of their losses at least. Overall, the price of Luna went down by 99.9%, essentially losing all of its value. Many questions remained unanswered. Who was this organization that traded 100,000 Bitcoin with Do Kwon? Was Terra Luna a Ponzi scheme all along? Was this a targeted attack against Do Kwon himself? Do Kwon had a reputation for being somewhat arrogant on Twitter himself. He was warned in the past of this exact situation happening, but he quickly dismissed the idea, calling the author of the tweet stupid in the process. He often goes out of his way to put others down, portraying a very unlikable, cocky persona on Twitter. Only a couple days prior to this attack, he laughed about how 90% of crypto projects that exist today will be irrelevant and won't exist in a couple years. And he also mentioned how there's definitely entertainment in watching these projects fail. Talk about karma, right? There had also been other reports that Citadel coordinated the attack against Terra Luna, the company that's also responsible for the whole situation with GameStop. They came out and officially announced that they had nothing to do with it, but officially announced isn't always the truth, as we all know. Others have been calling Terra Luna a Ponzi scheme overall, only working as long as the price goes up and people believe in the false value that it has. I was personally devastated when I saw the price begin to plummet. I wasn't invested in neither Luna or UST, but when two of the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap start to plummet by over 90% in a couple days, it's kind of hard to go unnoticed. There were reports of people losing their entire net worths, being all in on UST as a stablecoin that offers 20% APR yearly. Reports of people having taken out loans and not being able to pay them back. It's heartbreaking knowing that everything you have worked for over years and years of time can evaporate in a second. This is why it is so important to research every project before you get in, and to always have your portfolio diversified, and to never keep 100% in one single stock or cryptocurrency, because in a situation like this, you lose everything. But over everything, at the end of the day, please remember that there is so much more to life than a couple numbers on your bank account or on your computer screen. No matter how devastating things may seem in the moment, there is always a reason to keep living. Take a break from all of it, regroup, and keep going. Everything works itself out in the end. So how does this affect the entire community? Well, anytime an event like this takes place, it can only negatively affect the space. Investors that had bought UST or Luna as a recommendation of it being a safe, stable cryptocurrency that can bring great rewards, and have now lost 100% of their portfolio, will very understandably not be looking into investing into cryptocurrencies in the future. People that were on the fence about getting into cryptocurrency will now be repulsed against it, seeing what others have lost, and those that were already against the community will just have more fuel to their debate about why cryptocurrencies are dangerous. This will also lead to many more regulations being implemented and much more government involvement, with the narrative of stopping an event like this in the future. At the same time though, there is a silver lining. The crypto community can learn from these mistakes. They can become more cautious about where they invest their money, do much more research before picking a project, and developers can learn from the mistakes that Do Kwon and the Terra Luna Foundation did as well, trying to prevent these in the futures and hopefully avoiding an event like this happening again. Unfortunately, Terra Luna is not the first project that has plummeted and crashed completely, resulting in basically 100% loss, and it almost certainly won't be the last either. Always stay safe, do your research, and never go all in on one project. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the Terra Luna situation at the moment. Hopefully it made sense, but as always, if there are any questions or if you ever just want to talk about anything, my messages are always open, and please feel free to message me anytime. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.